Today's lesson is the Internet, a treasure trove of trivia. Hi, everybody. My name is Roger.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're going to talk some more about trivia concerning the Internet. The Internet has been around for quite some time, and so it has a history, and there are lots of interesting things to talk about regarding the trivia of the Internet. And last time, of course, we talked about the first website ever launched. Hey, it's still there. It's still live. You can do a Google search for the World Wide Web project and see what it looks like if you're curious. And another bit of trivia that we talked about last time concerned new devices that are connected to the Internet every second.
That's absolutely incredible. And we saw, of course, that there's phones and telephones and televisions connecting to the Internet, but also mirrors, doorbells, and pillows. I still haven't figured out why you'd want an Internet-connected pillow, but maybe I need to get one first, and then I'll find out what's so great. So today, we're going to continue with more Internet trivia. So let's get into the first part of our article and see what the next little fact is all about.
500 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute. Launched in 2005, YouTube quickly became one of the most popular websites on the Internet. Today, the site gets more than 30 million visitors and streams around 5 billion videos every single day. There is currently more video content on YouTube than you could watch in 18 lifetimes.
Okay, so in the first part of our lesson, we've got some more trivia for you, and I'm sure pretty much all of you are familiar with YouTube. That, of course, is a website where you can watch lots and lots of videos. I spend lots of time every day on YouTube looking for different kinds of videos to learn about various subjects or topics and stuff like that. And, of course, if people want to watch content on YouTube, people need to upload content to YouTube. And our first bit of trivia says 500 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute. That's a lot of content.
That is a very lot of content. Considering most YouTube videos are, what, between sort of 5 and 20 minutes long, 500 hours in total of all the people putting video out there every minute. And YouTube's been around a while. It says launched in 2005, YouTube quickly became one of the most popular websites on the Internet. Absolutely. When YouTube first launched, it wasn't one of those sort of slow burner websites that took a couple of years to catch on as people found new ways to use it. No, it was instantly popular. And it says today, well, it's still just as popular. The site gets more than 30 million visitors and streams around 5 billion videos every single day. So if you're watching a few videos, well, a lot of other people are watching a few videos, and some people are watching many videos. So 5 billion videos are viewed every single day. And I think the original YouTube video is still there too, the very first one. I think it's one of the founders, one of the guys who started YouTube, visiting a zoo or something like that. It's just a very short video, but to demonstrate what you could do, it's there, and a lot of other videos have been added to it. In fact, they've even figured out how long it would take you to watch all the videos on YouTube, should you ever want to do that.
It will take you a long time indeed. Here's another bit of trivia regarding YouTube. It was created by 3 guys, and one of those guys was from Taiwan, or is from Taiwan. And you probably didn't know that. Most people probably do, but again, it was launched back in 2005. And yes, indeed, today the site gets more than 30 million visitors and streams around 5 billion videos every single day. Those figures are mind-boggling. I cannot wrap my mind around that. That is a lot of content, which is in the next sentence here. It says there is currently more video content on YouTube than you could watch in 18 lifetimes. So you're not going to live long enough to watch all the videos on YouTube. And here we've got the word content, which just refers to what is there. Be careful, don't mix that up with the word content. That's an adjective. That means you're satisfied. I'm content with my life. I'm satisfied. I'm happy. But here, content, it just refers to all the things that are available on YouTube.
All right, so I think watching all that content wouldn't make you very content because you'd probably be watching a lot of cute cat videos for at least one of those lifetimes. All right, let's move on to the second part of our article, which is getting a little bit more serious, something about web security. So not only interesting trivia, but also possibly useful information. Let's check it out.
Private browsing is not as private as you might think. Most web browsers feature so-called private settings, but these browsing modes don't provide total privacy. While they do wipe your local device of visited sites and saved information, your search history remains visible to your internet service provider. For greater privacy, use a VPN.
大家好，我们可以看到第二部分的单字 privacy。这个字是名词，指的是隐私或是隐私权。例如 ，Growing up with 6 siblings, Emily didn't have a lot of privacy. Emily 和6个兄弟姐妹一起长大，没有太多个人隐私的空间。或者 The celebrity couple wants to protect their privacy from reporters. 这对明星夫妇想要保护隐私，不被记者报道。
Okay, so here it says private browsing is not as private as you might think. We all do browsing on the internet. Of course, we do searches on Google or whatever, and we try to find information. We go check it out. We go on YouTube. We check out Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. And, of course, we don't want other people to know about where we're going and what websites we're visiting. So we kind of set the private settings on our browsers. But here, private browsing is not as private as you might think. You're still kind of leaving a trail of all the websites you've been to, no matter how you set those settings.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of people think that private means private, but as they say, anything on the internet could eventually be seen by someone, so you should behave in that way, that thinking that nothing is totally private on the internet. It says most web browsers feature so-called private settings, but these browsing modes don't provide total privacy. So yeah, it's a little bit of the confusion, I think, is just how they phrase these things. If it says a private setting, when you think of private, you think of, being in your own bedroom with the door closed and the curtains shut. No one can see what you're doing. This is private, right? This is what we expect in our homes with the door closed, with the whole world not invited in. And of course, we have these settings on different websites, on our phone, on the things that we use. What is a setting? Basically, it's kind of setting up the device. It's programming the device, you could think of it in a way, or organizing the device in a way that fits you very well. You might have different settings for how loud the phone is, or how often the phone rings, for how often it shuts down if you aren't using it, things like that. So you can change these settings, often in a special section called settings, and you can basically set it up or plan it out or organize it in the way that you want. But these browsing modes don't provide total privacy. And yeah, there we see that word, privacy, which is just the noun form of private, meaning only for you or the people you choose, not for the whole world at large.
Exactly. So you probably use a browser. Maybe you use Internet Explorer or Firefox or DuckDuckGo. What's the one with a colorful circle?
Chrome?
Chrome, yeah. Chrome? That's probably the one that most people use. And so these are browsers, indeed. But in any case, yes, you go into the menu and then you go to the settings portion and you try to set it so it's private, but it doesn't provide total privacy. While they do wipe your local device of visited sites and saved information, your search history remains visible to your internet service provider. So yeah, it might erase all the websites that you checked out on your actual device, or at least it erases the records of those websites. So if you went to a website that you don't want your parents to know you went to, the device will erase that for you if you've set your phone properly. But somewhere on the internet, somewhere out there is your search history, and it's visible to your internet service provider, which of course is the company that provides you with internet service, which I believe would be like your your cable TV server, for me at least.
Or your telephone company.
Telephone company, yes. They're the people who provide you with internet service. Most people have a cable modem these days, but hey, way back in the day, they had these telephone modems, which were very primitive.
So yes, even though it's private and you might think it's private, it's not totally private, and there will always be the fingerprints of what you've done on the internet. So if you do want privacy, how do you get it? It says, well, for greater privacy, use a VPN. I think a lot of people are familiar with these VPNs. Anyone who's been to China might have needed to use one because in China, of course, you can't access things like Google or YouTube or Facebook. So if you're there, you might want to use a VPN. And I think also they're popular because it allows people to basically hide where they are in the world when they're using the internet. So it can be useful also if you're trying to watch television shows that may not be broadcast in your area, something like that. So that's what a VPN is. Get yourself a virtual private network. Of course, that's what VPN stands for. So right there, you get the idea that this is designed for privacy. It is called a virtual private network. And I think you can sort of pay for one for a small amount. And it might be useful if you are worried about internet privacy to a certainly higher degree than normal.
Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson. Let's move on now to the third part and talk about our third bit of trivia regarding cybercrime.
Cybercrime is the second most reported economic crime in the world. According to a study conducted by the University of Maryland, there's a hacker attack every 39 seconds. Emails are by far the leading carriers of malware, so be careful opening emails from people you don't know, and don't click on any potentially harmful links. It's interesting how little most of us know about something we use every day. But now that you're equipped with these fun facts, share some knowledge with your family and friends.
接着第三部分，我们可以看到形容词 economic， 指的是经济上的或是经济的。举例来说 ，The trade agreement started a period of economic growth for the country。这项贸易协定为该国开启一段经济成长期。或者 In the last election, voters focused most on economic issues。经济议题在前次选举中最受选民关注。另外补充这个字的名词 economy。economy economy 意思是经济或是经济状况跟制度。例如 The economy began to improve once the government reduced taxes。当政府一减税，经济就开始好转了。或者 The economy of the seaside town depends mainly on tourism。这座滨海小镇的经济主要依赖观光业。再来我们可以看到单字 conduct， 这个字是动词，意思是进行实施或是指挥。举例来说 The CEO sat at the head of the table and conducted the meeting。 执行长坐在桌子的主位，主持会议。或者 Animal behavioral scientists often live with animals in order to conduct research。 动物行为科学家为了进行研究，常会与动物住在一起。另外补充这个字的名词 conductor， C-O-N-D-U-C-T-O-R conductor， 指的是指挥家。我们可以说 The conductor did a wonderful job at directing the orchestra。 那位指挥家将交响乐团指挥得很好。又或者说After the concert was finished, the conductor took a bow。 音乐会结束后，指挥举了个躬。接着我们看到片语 by far， 它指的是显然或是极为我们可以说 The country was seeing the worst weather it had seen in years by far。 这个国家当时正面临多年来最恶劣的天气。或者 The band's latest album is better by far than its earlier one。此乐团的最新专辑显然比上一张好多了。最后我们看到单字 carrier， 它是名词，指的是疾病带源者、携带者或是运送者。例如 Mosquitoes are known carriers of several diseases。 蚊子是好几种疾病的已知带源者。另外补充这个字的动词 carry， C-A-R-R-Y carry， 意思是运载、携带或是备有货品出售。像是 The boat carried 20 students to the island. 船上载了20位学生去那座岛屿。或者我们可以说 We carry that item, but unfortunately, we are currently sold out. 我们有出售那个品项，但不幸的是，我们现在已经售完了。
Okay, so here's our final bit of trivia for today and for our lesson. We're talking about cybercrime, crime or criminal activities that take place online. Cybercrime is the second most reported economic crime in the world. So an economic crime, of course, is one that involves money, people trying to swindle you out of money. It's like when people call you and you hear a voice on the other end of the phone. "Ah, Wabibang help! I've been kidnapped." That is an example of economic crime. They expect you to pay them a ransom and stuff like that. But that type of criminal activity that takes place on the internet is called cybercrime, and it's the second most reported economic crime in the world.
Wow, that's quite astonishing, to be honest, that so many people can fall victim to crime like that. But yeah, that's what the research and statistics show. It says, according to a study conducted by the University of Maryland, there's a hacker attack every 39 seconds. Those hackers are busy people. So this is a study conducted by the University of Maryland. When we use conduct in this way, we're kind of using it in a slightly more formal way. Basically, we're saying that they did some research. They did a study. You could say, according to a study done by the University of Maryland. When you conduct something, you do something in kind of a formal way, maybe in a slightly more organized and planned out way. We think of a conductor who leads the orchestra by sort of guiding them through the piece of music, showing them when to stop, start, play loud, play quietly. They're kind of leading or doing something, but with some rules, with some concepts that are very strongly used. So when they do this research, they have to follow scientific practice. They don't just kind of do it. They go out and conduct the research because they do it in a very logical, methodical, and scientific way. But often it would involve just getting a lot of data from different parts of the world. Data, in this case, about cybercrime, economic crimes on the internet. And according to this research or this study, there's a hacker attack every 39 seconds. What is a hacker? It's basically an internet criminal, someone who is using the computer, maybe special computer knowledge, or maybe just using the system as it's set up to call people, confuse them, trick them out of their money, tell them that they send a certain amount of money, their bank account won't be in trouble, or they won't be in trouble with the law. And of course, they can also break into your computer and steal your passwords, credit card numbers, things like that. So a hacker could be a lot of different things, but basically it's someone who uses a computer to commit crimes.
Exactly. So there are various ways they do this. As Mike said, they get into your computer and try to find your credit card information by sending Trojans in there. And of course, nowadays we got this thing called ransomware, where they get into your computer and they change the names of all your files, and you can't open them unless you get some kind of formula from them, which you have to pay for, and that's going to cost a lot of money. So that's a ransomware. So indeed, you got to watch out for that, because a cyber crime occurs once every 39 seconds, at least according to a survey or a study conducted by the U of M, the University of Maryland, which is a state that's near Washington, D.C.
All right, it says emails are by far the leading carriers of malware. So be careful opening emails from people you don't know. I'm glad they put in that warning. And don't click on any potentially harmful links. Yeah, often you get these emails. I don't use the internet much, but every couple of months I might get one from Amazon saying, oh, there's been a problem with your order. And then I think, I haven't ordered anything in months. And generally, if you click on the email address that it was sent from, it will look very suspicious. It will be a long string of letters and numbers. Often the writing, if you read them carefully, the English is a little bit weird. So this clearly is not from a professional big company like Amazon. So those emails can be tricky, and they are the leading carriers of malware. A carrier is something that carries something or has something and transfers transports it or communicates it from one place to another. A messenger is the carrier of a message. If you have a disease and you could infect other people, you're a carrier of that disease. All right, so it basically could be a very useful term to talk about anything that kind of move things around. We even think of companies like FedEx, UPS as carriers too, because they carry messages and packages and things like that around the world. But in this case, it's the email that's carrying malware. Malware is basically a bad program that's out there to do harm. So malware is going to get into your computer and give up your passwords or open up certain private files so that hackers can see them. So because of all this and because these emails can come in, they can carry malware. Be careful opening emails from people you don't know, and don't click on any potential harmful links. Often you can see the email, but they'll have a little website in there. It says, click here to fix your credit card information, or give us your bank account information, or give us your password. Those are the things you really don't want to be clicking on. And then as we finish, it says, it's interesting how little most of us know about something we use every day. Yeah, that's a really good point. I think most of these facts in this article, both yesterday and today, it's kind of new to me. I didn't know a lot of this information.
Yep, and now that you're equipped with these fun facts, now that you know about them, share some knowledge with your family and friends, and hopefully they can protect their computers from malware or learn some interesting trivia that they can discuss when getting together for coffee outside and having a great time. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. Let's turn things over now to Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分写到 Private browsing is not as private as you might think. 私密浏览并没有你想的那么私密哦。我们这边要介绍的是 as 形容词 as 或者是 as 副词 as， 它就表示和什么一样怎么样。那这是形容词或副词的原级比较句型。第二个 as 后面是可以接子句的，只是如果这个子句里面的动词跟前面的动词相同的话，这个子句的动词就可以省略或是用助动词代替。那我们来看三个例句。第一个例句是 The movie wasn't as scary as we'd expected. 那部电影没有我们原本预期的那样恐怖。这边我们在 as 后面就是接一个子句。Mental health is as important as physical health. 那这边我们在 physical health 后面可以加 is， 不过通常省略。那这就表达说心理健康与生理健康一样重要。再看个例句是 Joan doesn't travel as often as her sister does， 或者是 as her sister。那这就是说 Joan 不像她姐姐一样常去旅行。好，那么课文第三部分有一个句子写到 Emails are by far the leading carriers of malware. 电子邮件呢是恶意软体最主要的媒介。那么文中的 malware 它是由 malicious software 结合而来，是指说恶意软体。那我们也可以把这个 malware 把它拆解成字首 mal 再加上 software 当中的 ware 把它结合而来。那我们这边就来介绍这个字首 mal。 这个字首 mal 它带有那种坏的、拙劣的、异常或是不充分等等负面的含义。那我们就来看几个例子。像第一个我们听到 malfunction， 这时候它的字首 mal 就表示不良、不正常， function 是功能，合在一起 malfunction 就是故障、运转失灵或者是机能失常。好，第二个补充的单字是 malnutrition， 那这时候它的字首 mal 表示不良、不充分， nutrition 是营养，所以合在一起 malnutrition 就是营养不良。第三个补充的是 maladjustment， 这个 mal 表示不良，那么 adjustment 表示调整、调试，所以结合在一起 maladjustment 就是不适应啊，或者是失调的意思。再来 malformation， 它的字首 mal 是异常，那么 formation 是形成或组成物，结合在一起 malformation 可以用来表达畸形的意思。那最后一个补充的是 malodorous， 它的字首 mal 表示差，那么 odor 是气味的意思， ous 是形容词字尾，所以合在一起 malodorous 表示恶臭的或是难闻的。好，以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Content. The website's content consisted mostly of pictures of cute cats. Browse. Robin couldn't find the information she needed even after browsing the web for an hour. Setting. Ben used the remote control to change the settings on the television. Privacy. Famous people often have trouble protecting their privacy. Economic. The economic effects of the steel shortage were significant. Conduct. The company conducted a survey to learn the public's preferences. Carrier. A quick test showed that he wasn't a carrier of the disease.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter for today. The question is, do you think that the world would be better or worse if the internet did not exist?
I think the world would be better without the internet because people would spend more time talking to each other. I think people spend too much time looking at their phones. Of course, we've seen the rise of fake news and people living in their political bubbles, not talking to each other, just sort of listening to people who they already agree with. And I think it's been led to all sorts of problems. So it would be better without the internet because humans would have to interact with each other more like they did in the old days.
Well, you're never going to get rid of the internet. That's a good point. But I think the world would be worse without the internet since it's already here and since it's so easy to get information by just going online and getting that information, and you can be one smart cookie as a result.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Mike.
I am Roger. See you next time.